Southwest CEO defends changes, bags, seating and employee excitement. Southwest Airlines' big move, lounges and premium flights to Europe? Southwest CEO defends changes, bags, seating and employee excitement. Imagine this, an airline you've trusted for years, famous for its customer-friendly perks, suddenly flips the script, charging for bags and assigning seats like everyone else. Sounds like a betrayal, right? That's exactly what Southwest Airlines is facing under CEO Bob Jordan's leadership, and he's not backing down. Buckle up, because this story is packed with bold moves, emotional confessions, and a sprinkle of controversy that'll leave you questioning, is Southwest still the airline we thought it was? Let's dive in. Southwest Airlines, once the darling of budget travelers, has recently rolled out two major policy shifts that have left passengers reeling. For years, the airline stood out by offering free checked bags and open seating perks that made it feel like a breath of fresh air in an industry often criticized for nickel-and-diming customers. But now those days are gone. The airline has decided to charge most customers for checked bags and implement assigned seating, effectively aligning itself with practices long adopted by competitors. And here's where it gets controversial. Not everyone is on board with this transformation, and the backlash has been loud. In a candid interview with the New York Times on July 6, 2025, CEO Bob Jordan addressed the uproar head-on. When asked how it feels to hear from disgruntled customers who miss the old Southwest, Jordan didn't shy away. He acknowledged the discontent but emphasized that the changes have their fans too. "I'm fully aware that some customers are upset, and trust me, I hear them," he said. "But what's fascinating is how many people are actually thrilled about where we're headed. The key is communication. People fear what they don't understand, so we need to keep explaining our vision. Once they see the bigger picture, most get excited. This is the part most people miss. Change, even when it's for the better, often feels uncomfortable at first. Think about it. When was the last time you embraced a big shift without a little hesitation?" Jordan went a step further, revealing an unexpected twist. Employees, he claims, are actually excited about these changes. Why? Because the old open seating system, while loved by some passengers, was a logistical nightmare for flight attendants. Picture this: flight attendants scrambling to help passengers find seats, manage disputes, and get everyone settled before takeoff. Assigned seating, Jordan argues, streamlines the process, making life easier for the crew. But here's the controversial bit. Does this mean Southwest is prioritizing operational efficiency over customer satisfaction? Some might argue it's a smart business move, while others see it as abandoning the airline's core values. What do you think? This isn't the first time Jordan has spoken publicly about these changes. In fact, he's been on what you might call a PR marathon, tirelessly defending Southwest's new direction. From podcasts to industry conferences, he's been everywhere, explaining not just the bag fees and seating changes but also other major shifts at the airline. For example, during an emotional moment on the How Leaders Lead podcast with David Novak on June 26, 2025, Jordan opened up about the painful decision to lay off employees. "There were moments when I was alone in my office, tears streaming down my face," he admitted. "Not because I doubted the decision, but because I knew how hard it would be for our people." This raw honesty is rare for a CEO, and it raises a big question. Is Jordan's emotional transparency a sign of strong leadership? Or is it a calculated move to win public sympathy? Let's hear your take in the comments. Jordan has also defended the shift to assigned seating at high-profile events, like the Bernstein 41st Annual Strategic Decisions Conference on May 29, 2025. According to a transcript shared by Seeking Alpha, he framed the changes as low-risk and industry standard. "These aren't wild, out-of-left-field ideas unique to Southwest," he explained. "They're practices the rest of the airline industry has been doing for years. We're just catching up." But here's a thought to chew on. If Southwest's whole appeal was being different, being the airline that didn't charge for bags or force you into a middle seat, does adopting industry norms risk alienating its loyal fan base? Or is it a necessary evolution to stay competitive? This is where opinions split, and I'd love to know where you stand. So here's the million-dollar question. Has Southwest lost its soul, or is it simply growing up? Change is never easy, and as Jordan himself said, change is hard, and change is emotional. But the real test will be whether Southwest can keep its customers happy while navigating this new chapter. What's your verdict? Do you think Southwest is making the right call, or are they betraying the values that made them special? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm dying to hear if you agree, disagree, or have a completely different take on this airline drama. Southwest Airlines' big move, lounges and premium flights to Europe? Stop the presses. Southwest Airlines, the poster child of no-frills flying, is openly flirting with the idea of going upscale. Think airport lounges, lie-flat seats, and even trips across the Atlantic. Intrigued? You should be. Chief Executive Officer Bob Jordan revealed at an industry conference that absolutely nothing is off-limits for 2025 and beyond. In his words, whatever travelers demand in the next 5 or 10 years, Southwest will at least consider, though, naturally, it will be done the Southwest way. But here's where it gets controversial. This is the same airline that built its reputation by stripping away the extras other carriers charge for. Now it's reversing course, nudging loyal bargain hunters toward paid perks while chasing deep-pocketed passengers who normally fly legacy carriers. From peanuts to perks. Over the past 12 months, the Dallas-based carrier has quietly re-engineered some of its most sacred policies. Under investor pressure, most notably from activist firm Elliott Asset Management, Southwest started charging for checked bags after decades of proudly advertising 2 free bags per traveler. It also plans to retire its hallmark open seating ritual. Very soon, passengers will be able to reserve specific seats for a fee, including roomier options up front. For newcomers to airline jargon, assigned seating means you know exactly where you'll sit before you board. It's a major selling point for business travelers who can't risk being separated from colleagues or from precious overhead bin space. Additional tweaks include pared-down, basic fare bundles that tack on fees for extras, reduced rapid rewards points for the cheapest tickets, and perhaps the loudest alarm bell to employees, the first corporate layoffs in Southwest's 54-year history. Each change signals a shift from pure cost-cutting toward revenue diversification. The disruption nobody noticed. Despite fears of a customer revolt, the carrier reports surprisingly little backlash. According to Jordan, springtime bag fees and restructuring affairs came and went with minimal uproar from its price-sensitive base. That apparent acceptance has emboldened the airline to set its sights on a richer demographic. Industry data backs up the strategy. Premium travelers, those willing to pay extra for space, privacy, and exclusive services, have been the primary growth engine for global aviation over the last 5 years. Competitors have responded with plush airport lounges, wider seats, and loyalty programs tied to high-end credit cards. Could Europe be next? Southwest has already dipped a toe into the premium pond by launching red-eye flights timed for executives, adding extra legroom rows, and forging its first international codeshares with Icelandair and China Airlines. Those partnerships let Southwest sell tickets to Europe and Asia without physically flying there, yet. Jordan openly admits that direct service to Europe is on the table. However, the airline's all-Boeing 737 fleet can't currently cross the Atlantic nonstop. To make it work, Southwest would need longer-range jets, think Boeing 787s or Airbus A321LRs, plus upgraded pilot training and new maintenance capabilities. Jordan insists the leadership team is open to looking at what it would take. Translation: if the numbers pencil out, don't rule it out. And this is the part most people miss. Transatlantic expansion would fundamentally redefine Southwest's network and cost structure. Longer flights require different crew scheduling, catering, and customer expectations, potentially eroding the very simplicity that has powered the airline for decades. Lounges in Music City? One test market appears to be Nashville. Southwest now commands more than half of the seats at Nashville International Airport, a gateway for a metro area enjoying explosive population and income growth. Jordan says travelers there are actively asking for first-class cabins, European routes, and yes, lounges. At the moment, anyone wanting a pre-flight shower or a glass of vintage bubbly in Nashville must defect to full-service rivals. That often means signing up for another airline's co-branded credit card, racking up miles elsewhere, and, ultimately, shifting loyalty. Jordan's blunt response: I want to send fewer and fewer customers to another airline. What might a Southwest lounge even look like? Picture the airline's trademark humor, perhaps an open snack bar labeled Grab and Go Faster, merged with reliable Wi-Fi, power outlets at every seat, and a minimalist design to keep costs in check. Whether that's enough to lure road warriors accustomed to champagne and daybeds remains to be seen. A fork in the runway. If Southwest goes down this path, it risks alienating longtime fans who cherish its egalitarian vibe. Yet standing still could mean surrendering high-yield segments to competitors forever. The tension illustrates a classic business dilemma: evolve or risk obsolescence. Thought-provoking questions for you. 1. Should Southwest abandon its no-frills heritage to chase premium dollars, or is that a betrayal of the very brand identity customers love? 2. Would you pay extra for a Southwest-branded lounge pass or a lie-flat seat to Europe, or would you rather stick with traditional low-fare simplicity? 3. Could the airline find a middle ground, offering tiered products without losing its fun, people-centric culture? Agree, disagree, or have a completely different take? Drop your perspective. A robust debate is encouraged.